Hey everyone, thanks for watching my top 5. Today it is deck building games. I like these games. I think there are so many different variations of deck building games out there that you're never going to get bored. And that's one of the things I did with this list. I thought about the deck building games that I enjoy and what they do that's wholly unique to that particular gaming system. And I've made my top 5. It was very, very difficult. I'm going to start with one game that I played the entire quest with my husband, and that is... This box is too big! Thunderstone Quest. Wow, what a jam-packed game. In Thunderstone Quest, you have the base game of Thunderstone, but you get to play it over and over and over again, meeting new monsters and finding new items, and it's just a whole lot of fun because you get to stay in this place for much longer than just a regular Thunderstone game. I do like Thunderstone as a game standalone, but if you were going to play Thunderstone, I would suggest the Quest version. One of my favorite aspects of Thunderstone Quest is the monsters dungeon area. I love how they are set up in different rows with different categories and requirements. I like that you can always go and fight the rats. The other thing Thunderstone Quest does well is it mitigates the lantern and strength cards that you have to draw when you go into the dungeon in just Thunderstone, just the base game. In Quest, you're allowed to carry bread and potions and lanterns as items in your play area, so if you need to have 4 lanterns, you can just discard the one-use lanterns to go really, really deep into the dungeon. Or you need someone to carry an item that they're not allowed to carry because it's too heavy, you give them the strength. And it mitigates that card draw that's kind of disappointing when you play just the base game. It can be really swingy. And in this game, you can plan a little bit better for those events. And I really like that. I love how you can upgrade particular characters to better fighters. In town, there are a lot of things that you can do, and you have to choose where you want to go. The deck building aspect, obviously, you are collecting and you are upgrading, and you're including all of these items and characters that you want with their weapons that you want to be in your deck so that when you draw your hand, you want to go down into the dungeon and do as much damage as possible. It's exciting. Every single time you go from game to game to game, you are adding new elements and new components and new monsters. This is a fun fantasy-themed deck building game, and I think it makes Thunderstone even better. Clank Legacy. Now, Clank itself is a fine game. It's a fine deck building game. But Clank Legacy is what got me playing Clank way more than I thought I ever would, and loving it so much. Now, I know that not all of these games are, you might think, ooh, they're all going to be legacy games or some kind of quest game. No, but I think deck building games actually work really well over a long period of time because you get a chance to try out all the cards that you invest in, and one game just simply isn't enough. The thing that Clank Legacy adds to Clank as a base game is this wonderful and humorous story world element, along with great engaging cards and all sorts of fun stuff. If you want to know more about my personal experience with Clank Legacy, Acquisitions Incorporated, definitely check out my article at the Daily Worker Placement. I wrote a really, really big one when we were halfway through with our Legacy campaign. We have since finished, and my opinion about the game stays exactly where it was halfway through. I had a great time, and I would play it again if I didn't know all of the secrets. It really is a one-time through. Clank Legacy, it's a press your luck element of building your deck, trying not to make a lot of noise. If you make Clank, goes into the bag. When the monster hears you, the cubes are drawn out, and there's this oh, do I invest in cards that let me prevent Clank? Do I invest in cards that let me go fast so I can make a lot of noise but I'm really quick about it? How do I invest in my cards, and what do I buy? There are so many choices in this game, and I think the choices are so varied that everybody has their own gameplay and game style. And we played this with 3 people, and all 3 of us were making really smart moves, but they were very different moves. And I loved that this game works when people take different paths. Press your luck, really strong in Clank, but the theme is out of this world. I love it. Aeon's End? You betcha. Aeon's End Legacy. I know I told you they weren't all going to be legacy games, but wowee, the Legacy really amped up the cooperative play that Aeon's End offers. That's the first of 2 amazing, amazing components and mechanisms in this game. First one, it's a cooperative game. You are all on the same team, and you work together to fight whatever monster you're fighting that has a very specific set of instructions and win condition. The other thing that makes this game really great is you build your deck, but you're not allowed to shuffle your deck. So as you set off spells, you put them into your discard pile, then you look at your new hand, you play your cards to buy new cards from the market, you put those in your player area in your discard pile, then you put the cards you use that turn into the discard pile, and then when you need to draw more cards for your hand, you take your deck and you just flip it over and you put it on your draw side again. So you're drawing cards in a fashion that you discard them in. So there's no shuffling, there's no getting all of your crap cards all at once, hopefully, if you're playing well. But that's unique. None of my other top 5 games do that. And it is so fascinating, and it works so well. You wouldn't think that it would work, that you can't shuffle your discard pile and make a new draw pile. You just flip it over. Aeon's End is very strong in theme as well. It reminds me of Thunderstone in that you have spells and you have relics and you have gems or your money to buy with. There's another wonderful aspect of this game too. That's initiative. Turn order, you have your particular character shuffled in with monster cards, and at the start of each turn, you draw one from the top, and let's say red character goes first. In the next round, guess what? Red character goes last. That means that there were other people going twice in a row before red character got to go again. That makes the gameplay less predictive, and I like that too. Wow, Aeon's End doing some amazing, revolutionary things. And not only that, it's fun. You have a great time, and there's nothing better than working with your friends to accomplish the goal to kill the monster. Great. Yeah, Aeon's End. Cooperation. Mystic Vale. Yeah, Mystic Vale. This game, when it came out, everybody was talking about it. And when I played it, I understood why. Now, I did play this at Gen Con, and I remember I sat down with my 3 friends, and then this 12-year-old boy wheeled up and sat down with us, and we were like, who does this kid think he is? And then he proceeded to clean the floor with us. I see how someone can run away with this, but I think the more you play Mystic Vale, the better you get, and the better you understand how the game works. The reason this game is on my list, and the reason it's so high, is because you have 20 cards. That's all you have for the entire game. Now, each of these cards is divided into thirds, and each third has an ability. It has something on it that affects you when you play that particular card. And it could hurt you, it could help you, it could give you bonus gems to buy other cards. There's even strips down the side that go for all 3 of them that give you some sort of affect. So you've got these 20 cards, and you have some start abilities, but you will build these by adding these transparencies to your sleeves. And so you use your 20 cards. When you need to draw again, you take your discard pile, shuffle, put it back, and then as you go through your cards again and again and again, you are building all of these unique cards with the thirds from the display area that everyone has access to and can buy from. It is so unique, so cool. I kind of want to play Mystic Vale all the time, and that's why it's number 2. Mystic Vale has this wonderful clean mechanism with the transparencies and the cards in the sleeves that no one had seen before. And that kind of revolutionary move is why it made it to my list, and the reason why it's so high. Also, in our box we have so many expansions, and so it's really hard to get bored with this game. Try one of the expansions, add that to your draws, and then you're never going to see the same transparencies. You're not going to play the same way every time because you have different choices and different directions to go in based on those particular abilities. Mystic Vale is a great choice for a deck building game. Compared to all the other boxes that I've been showing you. Xenon Profiteer is a slim, sleek, wonderfully themed game. One of the reasons Xenon Profiteer is my number 1 is because I think it's underrated. I don't know if people are playing it or even know about it, and it is such a clever, clean deck building game. I wanted to share it with you. Also, I love it. I would play Xenon Profiteer every day if I got the chance. The cool thing about this deck building game is you get to cull along the way, and you are trying to isolate Xenon. Xenon is one of the elements in the game along with nitrogen, oxygen, and krypton. And all 4 of those elements are identified by a playing card. So when you collect air, you collect 1 of each of those items. Now you put that into your deck, and when you draw your hand, you get to do a thing called distill. When you distill, you have to start with nitrogen, and you look in your hand and you say, do I have any nitrogen? And if you do, you distill all of your nitrogen, which means you kick it out of your deck. You cull it. If you don't have nitrogen, you move to oxygen. If you don't have oxygen, you move to krypton. Now, the thing about this whole deck building game is you're trying to collect other kinds of cards that will give you special abilities and will allow you to cull your deck at a much more efficient rate. And if you are left with Xenon in your hand when you draw and you do all of your special abilities, you get to then bank your Xenon. Now, Xenon is how you get these contract cards, and contract cards give you victory points. When a player has built 5 contracts or 5 upgrades, then that triggers the end of the game. It is a perfectly timed and themed game. I think it's so stinking clever. I love the idea of having to collect all of this stuff, right? Your nitrogen, oxygen, krypton, and Xenon, but all you really want is that Xenon. That's the only one you want. That's the only thing that ever does you any good. And so you get all this crud, and then you have to spend your whole game trying to get rid of it and banking the good stuff. It's really fun. It is interactive because the things that you're going for, those upgrades and those abilities, they're all out in the center area where other people can take on their turn if they have the right actions to do that. Xenon Profiteer is just a really great game, and in a box this size, come on, what's not to like? You just watched my top 5. If you'd like to put your top 5 in the comments below, I will happily read those. Thanks for watching. Please click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.